I set myself a challenge this week to go head to head with an AI robot and finally put my money where my mouth is. The contest? One of wits, skill, and the very soul of humanity itself. On this channel, I do a lot of reading and speaking, bringing my voice to the wide and varied stories of all the denizens of the internet, in an attempt to keep their voices human and out of the clutches of nightmarish text-to-speech monsters. And so here I am again to make a stand. We do not need robots replacing our voices, and we certainly do not need robots to replace our stories. The challenge now is thus. I'm giving myself and ChatGPT a prompt to write a story, and this story will be judged by you, dear viewer. The battle will be conducted in a similar fashion to a rap battle, or perhaps a dance battle. If those are still popular, I don't know. I never saw Step Up or You Got Served, and actually I think they stopped making them after 2006, but I digress. You see, what I'm getting at is, there will be a call and a response as the story is being written. Call them chunks of text from writer A and writer B. The trick, however, is I will not reveal which author is which. That is for you to discern. And so, the game's afoot. Let's find our story prompt. I scoured the internet looking for all the colourful little spinny wheels I could find to get a nice little clip for this video here, but in the end I really hated every single generation prompt they gave for me because they were all very, well, they were all quite lame, and also didn't really prompt a story. They were just kind of like a few words. I needed something a bit more advanced. And so, I found this. Alright guys, this one is a fantasy plot generator, and it looks really, really boring, but it actually gives you like a plot, and like a protagonist, and a characters, and actually like, you know, prompts a real story. Something we can really sink our teeth into. So, let's see what we get here. Also, we're doing fantasy because, well, I like fantasy. Protagonist is a peasant girl who can be brusque. The secondary character is a swordmaster who is innocent. And the plot? It's a medieval fantasy story about coming of age. It kicks off under the bridge with news of an ascension to the throne. Note that someone in the story has a grudge to settle. And there's a twist. A rival was an ally all along. And so there's our plot. I'm going to go plug this into the ChatGPT and start writing my half of the story. And what will follow next is maybe a little, what are they called? Montage, perhaps? A little montage of that happening? Or we might just cut straight to a battle scene. I haven't really decided yet. But you'll find out when this scene ends and we transition into versus AI.
Seeking to complete itself, a fragment takes on human form.
I won't lie to you, my friends. Animating a fight scene between me and my friend Desdemona here, who's playing the role of ChatGPT, that is well beyond my purview in animating skills. So, I'm just going to present the story to you in a nice dramatic reading. I hope you enjoy it. The rain ran in thin sheets off the stone bridge, masking the hurried footsteps. Beneath it, Bryn knelt in the mud, stuffing damp bread into her mouth when a swordsman skidded down the slope, panting. "They crowned him," he said. "He's king now." An errant crumb fell from Bryn's lip, rippling gently in the puddle by her foot. She rose to meet Garrett's gaze, her face twisting in an instant to mirror his exasperated look. "And Lucy?" she asked, her voice wavering ever so slightly. Garrett shook his head, curls sticking to his cheek. "Gone. They say she vanished at the ceremony." Bryn scoffed, wiping her mouth with her sleeve. Vanished, or was made to vanish? The rain echoed beneath the arches of the bridge, filling the empty air that Garrett's voice failed to satisfy. His eyes trailed away from Bryn's, falling to rest on the eddies of the current, swelling in size beside them. "The Blackguard," Bryn said slowly. "Then they were absent too?" Garrett nodded, jaw clenched. "Every last one. Not a plume nor boot print left behind." Bryn crossed her arms, squinting at the rushing water. Lucy was too loud to vanish. Someone wanted her gone. She rose to her feet, brushing the droplets from her dress in a single flourish, damp bread hanging from her mouth. "If the bells from Kirchester Square have not yet rung," she said, through soggy, spluttering crumbs, "then there's still time to find her, and make this right. If she's not dead, The rain continued to fall, drowning all sounds but its own. Garrett hesitated, then stepped forward, placing a calloused hand on her shoulder. She trusted the wrong people. Maybe we both did. Bryn swatted his hand away. Speak for yourself. I don't hand my trust out like apples in harvest. She trusted us, as I trusted her and trust you, Bryn said, her brown eyes turning auburn from the light's reflection off the river. There's still time to make this right. If she caught wind of what they were plotting before sending a message to us, where could she go? Garrett's lips parted, then closed again. He traced a finger along the hilt of his sword, thinking. She'd run somewhere old, somewhere secret. The first place we ever trained. The orchard ruin, past the ridge. And that's where we're headed, said Bryn. Did you bring your horse? Garrett grimaced. Traded it for news at the southern gate. I figured you'd mock me for riding anyway. Bryn rolls her eyes. I do mock you. But now we walk. The road to the orchard ruin ran east across the river, before splintering into 3 distinct paths. The path continuing east led to the ocean, while the other 2 forked to the north, one looping back around to the castle town, the other through the breadbasket. Bryn stood at the split, eyeing the muddy tracks. If she wanted speed, she'd cut through the fields, risky, but faster. Garrett knelt, fingers pressed to the prints. Boots. Light tread. Someone passed through not long ago. Alone? Asked Bryn. For a princess, I know Lucy isn't classically dainty, but I doubt she could outpace the Blackguard without some sort of assistance. Garrett looked up the slope, where the field grasses bowed under the weight of the rain. She'd have needed someone to draw them off. A decoy. Bryn said nothing. Her fingers tightened around the sickle still strapped to her belt. The rain scattered across the road in patterned waves, buffeting the rocks, stones, swordsman and girl, as the grim neigh of a horse wafted through its gaps. A distant thunder rumbled, born not of the sky, but of the ground. Hooves. Garrett's head snapped towards the sound, muscles tensing. That's no merchant. War horses, fast and armoured. Bryn drew her sickle with a hiss, which means they're not after trade. They're after someone. Bryn pricked her ear to the wind, but she couldn't tell which way the noise was coming from. Were they too late? What if these riders were coming from the orchard? What if Lucy was already their captive? What if they killed her? Garrett grabbed Bryn's arm, pointing to the underbrush. Off the road, he whispered. If they spot us now, we're done. Bryn hesitated, then dove into the thicket beside him, thorns raking her arms as hooves pounded closer, louder, too close. 5 armoured horses tore around the bend. They'd come from behind, heading toward the orchard. There was still time. Bryn exhaled, heart hammering. Then she's not caught. Not yet. Garrett nodded, already rising. If we move fast, we'll beat them there, but we can't take the road. Bryn gripped tighter to the handle of her sickle. Lead the way. Garrett ducked into the brush, motioning for her to follow him. There's a game trail through the pines, quicker than the road if we push hard. Bryn followed without a word, sickle in hand, boots finding grip where none should be. The pines thinned as they climbed, the scent of smoke threading through the wet air. Garrett slowed. Do you smell that? Bryn nodded grimly. Wood smoke. Too fresh. An ember glow burned on the wet horizon. The shadows of 5 centauroid creatures towered above a single figure, their shadows lapping its body in a dance with the flames. Bryn crouched low behind a splintered fence post, eyes fixed on Lucy, her cloak singed, yet her stance unshaken. The blackguards encircled her, armor gleaming red in the orchard's blaze. She's holding her ground, Bryn whispered, but she won't last. Garrett held the pommel of his sword firmly in the palm of his leather glove, creating an imperceptible creak while hesitating to draw his blade. Was there any action he could take that would lead to a rescue? None that he could glean in the wet heat moments of the burning rain. Bryn touched his arm. Wait. She stepped forward into the firelight, sickle at her side, chin high. I was their rival once, she muttered. Time they remembered what that meant. A sound. Like the crack of a coachman's whip, ripped through the space where Bryn was just then standing, as her form began to fade. The warped outline of her body hung for a moment in that stillness, framed by droplets, frozen momentarily in time. Each helm of the marauding blackguards turned to face the sound as a shockwave rattled the links of their armor. Empty air. Nothing there. Redoubling their focus, the staccato gurgle of a horse neigh turned them back to face the princess, who, now herself, was doubled in turn. 2 women now stood together, facing down the blackguard mob. Bryn stood now between Lucy and the blackguards. her sickle low, the blade still humming from the speed of her arrival. Steam rose from her shoulders where rain met heat. "You'll leave her," she said, voice like iron. "Or you'll bleed." So, that was it. Yeah, what'd you think? Yeah, who was who? Who won? It was me, right? I won. You could tell who was who, couldn't you? I mean, come on. I've been to university. I've done creative writing courses. I mean, surely I had the skills to beat that AI in that battle. And, I really hope you could tell. Otherwise, I'm going to be having a bit of a complex from now on and feel real bad about myself. But that's none of your concern, I'm sure. But if you like what you watched here, you got to tell me below, guys. You really have to comment below. And I know the 25% of you that made it this far, you just want to sit back and relax. I get it. But I'm begging you. Please, I need the feedback. Otherwise, I'm just going to keep making random shit of varying degrees of quality. I mean, I have no idea what I'm doing here. I mean, look at me. I'm a low polygon hedgehog making random videos. So please, tell me what you want to see and I'll make it. And if you really like my stuff, you want to help me out, just watch this video right here. Whatever one it says it is, it doesn't really matter. YouTube has studied your algorithm and it thinks this one's going to be the best one for you. So let's just trust in our digital overlords and acquiesce. Anyway, farewell for now, and for the 5 of you out there that enjoyed those Soul Calibur 2 references, well, thanks. I spent hours on those.